Okay, guys, I am happy to get us started. So I've got both David and Nicholas, our co-CEOs of Ultra, here within the space, and we wanted to ask and answer some questions that are associated with the Mainnet launch, which happened just yesterday. So, David, Nicholas, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, say a little bit hello to the community, and we'll get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Remy. Hey, everyone. Yep, definitely. So I'm the co-CEO, as you guys might know, of the company. I handle everything business, the partnerships, the operation, finance, legal. And yeah, we'll be definitely glad to answer the questions we received over the course of the last 24 hours. And I believe we will try to do the similar format if it's appreciated by everyone over the course of the coming months, so we can get all of you in the loop and updated, and so you can all ask your most urgent questions.
Hey guys, so I'm David. I'm taking care of the product, so platform, technology, and overall the development of everything we do. So I'm super happy that we start doing this. As Nicholas mentioned, we will, if this is a success, we will maybe do it maybe in different formats. Maybe we will do a weekly or monthly live stream on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. But this is something that we will start doing in the coming months. I think it's the right time since we have the mainnet now. It's a great moment to start interacting with the community, both users, but also developers out there. So thank you for having me, and thank you, Rami, for hosting this panel.
Yep, I would say.
Yeah, totally my pleasure. Super fun.
Before we start off, I wanted first to do a big congratulations to the team because they did an amazing job over the course of the last few years, and Mainnet is very key pieces of the whole Ultra platform, and I think the hours I know they put in the heart they put in it is really impressive, and we are really glad to have this team on board. The Mainnet is live. We'll be happy to explain more in detail what does that mean. But yeah, I think they definitely deserve a big round of applause for all the hard work and the magnificent blockchain we now have available.
Absolutely. Maybe I don't know. Do we want to start this conversation before we start answering the question? Do we want to maybe have kind of like an explanation of what is unique about our blockchain and why we built this? Rami, how about what do you think about it?
Yeah, sure. You want to maybe take a minute and highlight some of the key features of our blockchain that differentiate us from, I'd like to say the competition, but now that we've launched, not really competition anymore. So
yeah, sure. So I think just to take a step back, there are many blockchains out there today, and the reason why we built our blockchain is simply because we didn't find any blockchain that answered the questions that we had when it come to how do we make it work for a mass market audience. And if you want to make a blockchain service today and you want to address Mr. Everyone or Mrs. Everyone, you actually are going to stumble upon tons of problems. You're going to have scalability problems, you're going to have cost problems, you're going to have complexity problems, and sometimes multiple of them. And today and even back in the time we certainly didn't find any solution suitable to our needs. So that's why we decided, well, we need to make our own blockchain solution. And instead of looking at the blockchain as purely an infrastructure, as it's often the case where you decide, okay, let's make a blockchain, people will use it. We kind of like thought about it the other way around. It's like we want to do something, but there's nothing that can do that. So we will make a blockchain that solve the existing problem. And in the process, it solved other people's problem, because our problems, I believe, is a general problem that any platform like Ultra Games or like, other platforms, Twitter, Twitch, you name it, would have, which is it needs to be easy to use, it needs to be cost efficient, it needs to be scalable, and so on. And so this is kind of like the reason why we started building the Ultra blockchain. And this is, one of the this is where Ultra is really unique. It's we solve these things. And so if we want to break it down in what are the unique specificities, I think there are two main things we can say. First of all, transactions are free, but they're, and then you could say, but there are other blockchains where transactions are free, and that's true. But these other blockchains, while the transactions are free, you still have a onboarding cost. Like, okay, you need to create a blockchain account, and that costs you money. And then you need to start staking coins, and that costs you money. And so if you look at it at, you just take a simple example, Twitter. Would you have been on Twitter if you had to pay $5 before you could start tweeting? Probably not. And this is a very big deal. And this is one thing we solved. We solved it in a very interesting way. And then the second main thing that we solved is the problem related to the key security keys. How do you recover them? And it needs to be easy, and actually it needs to be as easy as what people are used to, but it needs to be more safe than what exists today, because you will have actual assets, financial assets, and NFTs that will be very valuable. And so you don't want to just protect it in a classical way. And so that is another major things that solution that we solved, and we solved it at the protocol level. So it's a very unique method, and something that will enable applications across the world to provide blockchain solutions, integrate blockchain functionalities to existing mainstream applications. And so I think these are kind of like in a very, very high level, why we built it and what is unique about it. Now, of course, there's many more unique aspects to our blockchain, but like these are the two really main ones.
Probably the mass market appeal is also very important, in the sense that if you want to work with the largest corporates of the world, you need to have a set number of functionalities related to your tax, related to your IP protection, related to geofencing, and all of that is being taken care of from day one and envisioned as part of the blockchain functionalities, meaning that once we speak with those companies, we actually can go through the whole process to work together because we already thought about the potential issue for them, and that's something also that is really key that to do this kind of partnerships, which is pretty important.
Yep, agreed. So I think we have a series of questions that we received the past days that we can go through, Rami, right?
Yeah. I've been watching Twitter and Telegram and making a big list of questions that users have been asking to us. A lot of them are duplicates, but we'll try to get through as much as we can. Just to make sure that everybody's on board, we have about 21 minutes left in the space, so let's get to it. I wanted to start with some kind of more general questions. David and Nicholas, what do you think's been the most difficult step? Like where have things gone a little more difficult, been a little bit more difficult than you thought that they would be? How do you think maybe Corona has affected us as a company? What are your thoughts?
I think on the company level, one of the difficult part is growing the team. We have a very deep hiring process with tests and interviewing through multiple levels of the company, and so this is something that is of a challenge. And then on the tech side, I think while on the blockchain, like the reaching truly free transaction, like the core concept of the strategy that we had to make this happen, is simple, but the actual implementation and making that work is of another level. And so that's why I'm like extra proud that we achieved this, and I'm really, really proud of what the team has done, and I'm really looking forward to see the beast, running and being used by other people than us.
Yep, I would say on my end, one of the rough one is probably the possibility to plan in advance exactly to have a good timing on the roadmap, because the reality is what we are building is extremely high tech in a sense there's nobody done it before.
Cutting edge.
Exactly. So it's extremely complicated to say, okay, this is how many days, weeks, months it's gonna take, because nobody's done it before. So there's no example of, okay, this is gonna be done in a week.
It's done full of research and development. Yeah, it's not just like let's do
it's
like
not just we're gonna
ones.
make it and then okay, sure, this takes a week. It's how, so what is the problem? What is the solution we want to bring? How to create that solution, and then how are we gonna develop this whole solution and find all the problems that you might encounter while developing to end up with a pretty neat solution. And that's a lot of work, and it's very hard to estimate. The great thing is that now we went through, I would say, all the hoops of the hardest part, I would say, of the project in terms of getting the mainnet launched and everything. We already have the NFT standard, the first version already as well. So we already have a solid foundation now on which we can only improve. But that's already I think the core now of the blockchain aspect has been done, even if there is unlimited amount of work, to say the least, with all to complete the vision and then the unannounced visions as well.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm gonna ask some harder questions now, if you guys are ready.
Shoot
I guess
them.
whether you're ready or not, they're coming.
Go ahead.
All right.
We're
so, if Mainnet has launched today, why is it not accessible?
Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. I think let's understand what the blockchain is. Really, blockchain is kind of like a printer. You send him some stuff to print, and then on the back he will actually give an answer, which is printing. Here's the same. The blockchain, that's what it does. You send him commands, and he gives you answer. The thing is that to send the command, you need to be a developer, and when you're a developer, after you kind of like create an application that provides an interface to send these commands and to handle what the blockchain answers back. So this is where this is what we have right now, is that the mainnet, this online computer is ready. And it's live, and right now you can actually transfer coins, and it's done forever. Now the thing is, once this is done, we on the other hand have also we have a client. Inside the client there's a wallet, there's tons of things that we've built, but now that the mainnet is live, we kind of like still have to connect certain things to the mainnet prior to providing you an interface. So that's why you can't use it, is because you don't have an interface, basically. And this is something you're going to get access to. This said, developers can start developing with this, and so we're going to provide some documentation and an article on how to get your hands on the blockchain development.
So yeah, essentially the reality is we are not building just a blockchain like you would see many other projects. We have a blockchain, we have the wallet, we have the Ultra client, we have Ultra games, we have the NFT marketplace, we have the third-party integration, we have SDK, I can continue like that for quite some time. And the reality is you can't launch them all at the same time and hope it doesn't explode, because it will, that's for sure. You need to put step by step. So you first put the mainnet, then you plug in it the client, and on the client, then you plug in the Ultra games, then you plug in. It's like a step-by-step process. You can't do them all at the same time. So meaning the mainnet is accessible, yes. Now our team can plug everything to it. And at the same time, as David mentioned, for the developers, which are external developers, who want to put the application on Ultra, this is something that is will be shortly available as well. And alongside the Block Explorer, of course, people will be able to see the transaction. We can see them already now. It's just a matter of finishing the skinning and then getting it live to everybody. But yeah, that's not a lot of time expected for that. So yeah, I think we should be good with that. For the people to really see the mainnet as an end user, it will go through the wallet-only client. That's going to be the first step. So on one hand, you have obviously the different waves of closed beta, but on the other hand, you have the wallet-only client, which allows anybody to register to the platform and start making transactions, inviting friends, purchasing US from directly from Ultra. And this is something upcoming, in July somewhere.
And maybe just to clarify, like when we talk about wallet-only client, it is Ultra. And Ultra is an app ecosystem. But in this version, if you're not part of the beta wave 1 or 2, you get the exact same client. It updates the same way and so on, but you're not going to see the Ultra Games application. You're only going to have in your Ultra client the wallet client. So it's a fully fledged client, but you don't have all applications. And if you're part of the wave, once you log in, you will actually see these apps. Yep. I mean, you will see the Ultra Games app. And if you're not, you will only see the wallet app.
Yeah, but that's the final app in a sense, so it will self-update. You don't need to re-download another thing later. Once it's we make it available, the wallet will just pop up. The application will just pop up in your application. That's all.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. So for those users that have the wallet-only client, I know there's been some confusion about the token swap, how it's going to work. Things like if a user has ERC20 tokens, how long do they have to keep them on Ethereum? Is there a certain time frame? Blah blah blah. Would you guys like to take this moment to address some of those questions?
Sure. So there will be an article, or there already has been an article talking about this, just as a note. But in a nutshell, you will have a permanent bidirectional ERC20 to native token swap functionality inside the wallet. So that means that if you prefer to keep your tokens in your ERC20 wallets, you can. And at any time, you can make the swap. And there's a functionality inside the Ultra wallet that is accessible for you, just as much as you can make the swap, and then maybe eventually, you have your native, and at any time you can decide, well, I want to have it, in ERC20, maybe for Uniswap or whatever the reason, you want them in ERC20. The functionality is there. You just give, your destination Ethereum address, and you follow the flow, and your tokens will appear the other side.
Yeah, essentially, we will also publish an article about the token swap, going much more in depth just before the wallet-only client is available. So just before you can swap the token, making sure that nobody's left behind. But what's important to know is there is no risk, in a sense that you don't have to swap before a certain date, or there is no problematic that will occur with exchanges. It is all essentially taken care of. There's no pressure to swap the token. So that's good
I
to
think
know.
another thing that's interesting, and I'm, there might be a question related to this. There's so right now we support ERC20 on the Ethereum network swap, but eventually we're going to support other chains. So the core technology enables this. We choose to do it that way because we can very easily add other chains. So I don't know, Binance chains, EOS or other chains are basically supported by this blockchain swap technology. But so initially we will support only our token, and then we're going to expand, for any ERC20 on Ethereum and then other tokens on the other chains.
You don't have your wrap BTC yet on Ultra? I do.
Yeah, we do it already. Like technically we support it. Like there are already Bitcoins on the Ultra blockchain. The only thing is our wallet doesn't have a fancy interface that shows you that and that allow you to swap them. But that's something that's coming very shortly. Again, it's a matter of priority. But the functionality is there and it's working. So that's pretty cool to know that we already have Bitcoins on the Ethereum, on the UOS network.
That's really exciting. I'm actually really hyped for that because, as everybody knows, the transaction times on BTC are pretty terrible, and for our network, they're super quick, super fast, and of course free.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, give me some Bitcoins here, and you pay 0. And also, the cool thing is, we're going to eventually support payments with any token. Then you will be able to buy your game with BTC, Ethereum, and so on. And then on the back end, we're doing the conversation seamlessly.
Conversion.
And then the conversion, the BTCs are sold on exchange. You receive then we purchase UOS with it, and then these UOS are then used to complete the transaction. So if there is an influencer commission and developer commission and so on, they will be paid then in UOS in the background. And so the whole thing, like this whole flow of conversion and so on, has been designed. Like what we've done here and what works for UOS, it has been designed to be able to be extendable with any type of coin. And so this cross-chain token, wrap token technology that we have kind of ties into the long-term vision where you really literally can buy with any coin, and then everything will be converted to UOS, and then everybody's paid in UOS. So that's a very cool thing for people in the crypto space. Like any coin you have, just throw it and buy whatever you want on Ultra with it.
Pretty awesome stuff. All right, let's move on to the next question. When AAA partnerships? Nicholas, this one's for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So essentially, we already have about 150 game devs and publishers signed up, as all of you might know. And some of them are AAA developers. So it's just a matter of timing. Now that we have the mainnet, once the platform is plugged to the mainnet, we are able then to upload the games, and the developer don't have to re-upload them another time, because if it was on the testnet as before, they have to redo the whole work, which is not the preferred option for any game developer, of course. So here, now that we are in this period, we'll be able soon to speak more about that. But reality is there are some AAA, some AA, some indie, and some exclusive games. It's just a matter of when you speak about them, we want also the users to be able to see those, whether it's in closed beta, but at least if we speak about them, we want to make sure people can actually see the games on the platform. But yeah, to answer a long, in a long answer for a short question, here the short answer would just be that yes, there are AAA partnerships, not only so with the game developers, yes, but there are also with multiple other large corporates we are working with. So, but as we'll be tying more to the NFT side of the platform. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm extremely excited by it, to be honest, because I see there is so much potential and so much interest from those companies. And so far, all the decision that has been made for the blockchain development. So as we discussed earlier, the IP protection, all that is resonating extremely well with them because they all have the same problems, and so far so good. You didn't have anybody who were like, oh, we can't do it because of this or because of that. And I know they had those similar problems with others because they told us, yeah, we couldn't do it beside with you. So great.
I heard exclusive game.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever said publicly anything about it, but I heard that. Another thing I can add to this conversation is as crazy as it may sound, there's actually very few platforms out there that provide integrated DRM solutions. I know for like everybody's like, oh yeah, but Steam has it. Yeah, but it's really on PC. It's only Steam, really. Some companies have some stuff, but they don't come out of the box. And so this is something that's really exciting for game developers. It's the fact that we provide, like Steam, we're one of the only platform that provide, like Steam, out of the box DRM solution where you just give us your game, don't do any development, and the DRM is automatically applied to it. And so this puts us in a new category for them, because there is a true alternative to Steam, which it's crazy to sound. Yeah, there's Google Games, there's this and that. Yeah, but there's no DRM, or there's no SDK, or there's no this and that. And so eventually the developer is really, in many cases it's still only able to publish on Steam. And so this is, I think that's also one of the reasons why it has been quite, we've been quite successful signing developers on board.
I think it's really important to have a deep understanding of what developers require, because it's not just what our users need. Of course, it's also what our developers need, and making sure that we balance the priorities internally with the resources that we have to do the development is quite the monumental task.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I think the experience that we have in the game industry, I think each of us in the executive team has so much experience working with game developers, and we're one phone call away for getting answers from the smallest developer to the largest game corporation. Hey, do you need this, or what is your problem in this thing? And then they're going to tell you, yeah, well, we always have this problem. Then we can work with solution, and then we come back to them and we say, hey, we got that. And then they go crazy. They're like, hallelujah, we got a solution out there.
This is actually one of the things that attracted me to Ultra, I don't know, 2 years ago. My brother Nathan and I, we came from Scatter, which was a wallet for EOS. And I don't think that the ecosystem had that understanding of how to, how do I put this, how to ask the right questions and then formulate and develop the correct answers as features. So one of the things that's been most interesting and most fun at Ultra has been that process of making sure that we answer, like, what's terrible about blockchain today? What's terrible about the developer experience today? All of this stuff that is just like super hard, super frustrating to use all the time, and then making sure that we provide answers before people ask those questions. Like we have to ask those questions first. And I think Ultra is doing a really good job at that. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question because we don't have that much time. We've decided to extend another 10 minutes because this has been super fun. Let's talk about public access. Nicholas, this one's on you.
Sure. So related to the public access, so we described a while ago so that we have a wave system. So we are releasing the platform incrementally to allow more and more users. The reason why it's happening this way is because we want to make sure the platform is battle tested before open to the whole public. If we don't do it that way, you might end up with a platform that crashes, which is nobody wants that. And at the same time, we also want users to test the platform with a fresh mind. So if you bring everybody at the same time and you add some features in between, everybody's the same experience. Now, if you bring some users 2 months after, 2 months, another 2 months after, they will have a fresh experience with the different set of features. So that's very helpful. So far, the Wave 1 users have been amazing. They provided a lot of great feedback to the team, finding some bugs we didn't see, giving some input on why do they think this is great, why do they think this could be improved. And that's something that will continue with more users. So the Wave 2, as we mentioned, we want this to be on the testnet, on the mainnet, sorry. So which means we also need the platform to be plugged to the mainnet. Now that the mainnet is live, we need to plug the platform and then the Wave 2 can start. So that's the next step. To get access to the Wave 2, there is a lot of different ways. Usually there's lots of contests run by us or run by the community as well. Thanks to them for setting this up. That's amazing. And we also will have some more access distributed. So this is like 100, 150 users total. So this is increasing from about 10, 20 for the first Wave 1. And then we will have around the Wave 2. So basically the same time, the wallet-only client available to everyone, meaning everyone can download the client, have access to the wallet, able to register their username, purchase tokens, invite their friends with a referral program. So there's already a piece which is will be public. Next step is Wave 3, which is a bit later, but not so long, much shorter than the Wave 1 to Wave 2. And the idea here is to bring more users, so more than 1,000 and moving up to ramp up to the open beta. So an open beta is really where you have, this is still happening this year. This is including then the wallet, you have the Ultra client, of course, you have your Ultra NFT marketplace, you have the Ultra games. Here we're still dabbling if we fully open it or if we give it 1 more month to just for that specific part to make sure everything is in sync. But yeah, the idea here is for before the end of this year to already have everybody who can access most of the platform. And maybe a small piece of information for Wave 3, most likely if you registered on the website, we will be also picking randomly between the people who registered. So if you registered there, there's a chance you will also receive a beautiful email telling you you're going to get access to the Wave 3. Don't expect it this month because first thing first, Wave 2. But then after that, we will also be digging into the list and offering some access there.
Thanks for the clarity there. All right, with the last 5 or so minutes, I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. I want to talk about staking. I know that this is something that the users have been asking for. I know that it's something that we don't talk publicly about. We've been very careful about it. So now's your chance. David, maybe you want to start?
Yep. Okay, so for staking, I think one thing we can already say, and you guys might know already if you read the white paper, is that our staking reward system is going to be very different than what has been done so far. So our staking will, eventually also reward US, but also actual NFTs, some very rare NFTs. some game NFTs, virtual items, collectible, you name it. So that's something that is very unique. But also our staking reward, our staking system has a purpose. And the purpose of the staking mechanism is to provide priority to certain actors when the network reached a capacity. So in essence, all transactions are executed instantly, but when the network is on its knees because a lot of people are using it, then there's a queue system, and the people who stake the most receive priority over the network. And so you can stake coins for this. And so this allows you, for example, to ensure your business requires, has blockchain blockchain transaction as part of your business. You can stake some coins and make sure that even when the network is at capacity, that your transactions are executed instantly. And so that's really the purpose of the staking mechanism. And the second part of the staking mechanism, and so for this first part, the purpose, that's working. This part is implemented, and anybody can sponsor transactions of a smart contract under any type of condition. So you can say, I sponsor transaction if you own this NFT, or I sponsor this transaction if you buy product A, or whatever it is. It's super powerful. And so this is the first utility. And then the second utility that we're going to add is that we're going to reward people for doing that. And the reason why we want to do that is because people basically participate to deciding who are the most important actors on the network. So by basically staking and saying, I'm staking for that, smart contract, like it's an exchange, it's a NFT, this or that, whatever it is, you can stake for them. And when you do that, you're basically contributing to curating the blockchain by saying, these are the most important transactions for me. They deserve to have more priority using my staking. And so the network will reward you for that. And that's something that's coming as a second step. So again, like for the same reasons we mentioned before, things are being done in a sequence. Sometimes because of a matter of verifying the stability before we add another system on top, but also sometimes simply because there are dependencies. So you can't do something without something else, and so they need to be done in sequence. So in short, staking is working for the first purpose, and then the second purpose, which is rewarding with NFTs and EOS coin, is the second phase of our staking program, and will be coming later on.
So technically, the staking works today, but the rewarding part is something that needs to be plugged. And for that, for example, we already have made so the staking solution works. You have the NFT standard version 1, which is already running on the mainnet. You have the mainnet, of course, but now we're going to move to the NFT standard version 2, which is with even improved functionalities. So the NFT standard we developed has the particularity that it can be upgraded. So your NFT can upgrade to a newer version, and is backward compatible as well for the new ones. And that's something that allows us to expand our NFT technology over time and make it, as soon as there's a new use case we didn't think of, we can actually add it to the NFT solution. And the second aspect is...
That's the first time also we mentioned that. I think that's also a nugget there.
Yep, cool stuff, right? We shouldn't come to this call. That's dangerous. You're leaking too many information now.
Yeah.
No.
And the second aspect is the random generation numbers. So I don't think we spoke about that, but that's definitely part of a game platform, as everybody here can imagine. So once we have those kind of functionalities finalized, then we are closer to have the reward solution. Because if, for example, one of the reward for stacking would be a super rare sword in a specific game or can be used anywhere. You need it to be randomly distributed with variability. So if you stake that much, you have more chance. You stake big less, you have less chance. But you need some of those core components to be able to do a proper rewarding solution.
I hope we're talking about the Sword of Fire.